I think everybody here is in favor of having Tower 3 built, and I'm confident that inevitably that it will be built. The real question here is with whose money and who takes the risk. This is at the heart of the debate on Tower 3. The Port Authority's core mission is to build transportation infrastructure. The Port Authority is a highly constrained agency, such as all other government agencies are nowadays, in that it has more critical transportation projects that it must build than it has money to build it. This is despite the fact that we have a $28 billion capital budget that was put forward. So the real question here is whether we triage a bus station in Midtown Manhattan that serves 65 million people a year, or JFK, which serves 100 million people a year, in order to build another building that will stay empty in the World Trade Center. That is really what we're trying to discuss. And I'm not going to get into a numbers discussion with my friend Pat as to whether it's safe or unsafe to do it from the Port Authority's point of view. We've discussed this in the executive session. But having had 40 years of investment banking experience and 3 tours in government, I would just conclude that it is not appropriate for a public agency using public money gained through tolls and through airport fees and other things to build our balance sheet, to use that balance sheet to finance a speculative real estate development. No matter how patriotic our goals are, no matter how intense our feelings are, and I respect those feelings, but at some point, we have to face the fact that common sense, core mission, and how we use the public's money takes precedence over patriotism, or the project becomes a vanity project that we're doing for our self-satisfaction. The Port Authority has more vital transportation projects to build, as I said, than it has money. I think there is absolutely no dispute about that. We say that it won't jeopardize our current $28 billion capital program for the next 10 years, but that is not true either. If this $1.2 billion has to be collected on through foreclosure, which everyone speaks lightly here, but it would be an enormous multi-year diversion of Port Authority staff, professionalism, and balance sheet. If there is a foreclosure, so it's hardly a technical side issue that we're talking about. If we have to start hiring hall porters, plumbers, electricians, and all the things that go into making office buildings work. So we're just not here to endorse some abstract wish that we want to recognize the terrible disaster of 9/11. We've recognized it already by putting $7.7 billion into the World Trade Center site. There's no doubt that we're patriotic and that the buildings are built already. It's building another building that we're talking about. We have the museum, we have Tower 1, we have Tower 4, there's Tower 7. So we're talking about building another building, not the building. And therefore, it's really at the essence a commercial deal. It's for private people to do, not the government with taxpayers' money. We talk lightly about a guarantee. What is a guarantee? Guarantee simply says that if this guy doesn't pay, you're going to pay. That's the same as making a loan. We're building the Goethals Bridge, in effect through a lot of different legal and financial interests. We're basically saying we're guaranteeing a private developer of a bridge, builder of a bridge, so that he can get the money to build the bridge. So we would be taking money from building a Port Authority bus terminal or a new facility at the JFK airport that we can easily guarantee the builder and have him build it. So there's no question that it's a tit for tat. So we're really saying, what is the mission of the Port Authority? It's not a question whether Tower 3 will be built. It's only a question of when Tower 3 will be built. So that gets to the point is, why aren't the public debt markets willing to put up the money for Tower 3? Why are the public debt markets saying, not now, not now? The reason they're doing that is because there's a 13% vacancy rate downtown right now. The reason they're doing that is that Chase Manhattan Bank is vacating Chase Manhattan Plaza and putting another 1 million square feet onto the market, which we renovated into Class A space. They're saying that because if we build this building with Group M as an initial tenant, which is great for 20% of the square feet, we would be adding another 2 million square feet to an already vacant 2 million square feet at the Port Authority, a World Trade Center, which hasn't leased, and there has been not one private tenant that's come into those buildings in the last 3 years. But for the New York City and the Port Authority generously supporting it by taking 1.2 million square feet, there'd be even more vacancy down there. To add this building puts us at a 17% vacancy rate downtown. That's equivalent to the darkest days in 2008 and 2009 during the recession. That's why they're not giving the money. The private sector is saying, no, wait. Now, it doesn't mean that a speculator won't go into that kind of a market, which is clearly a tenant market anytime it's over 9% vacancy. It's not that it's not doable, but people do that with their own money, not with money raised from individual citizens. We had Jones Lang LaSalle, a very noted real estate broker, advise the Port Authority on this matter. As Scott said, we had an expert in. What did Jones Lang say? They said, well, this deal is technically okay and that the numbers all add up and stuff, but they didn't say it was wise public policy. They carefully said, we can't opine on wise public policy on this. We're numbers people. And what did their numbers say? What the numbers said that today, everybody who builds an office tower, even uptown where it's a strong market, doesn't finance it with debt. They finance it with their own money. So they say that Hines, who was building a building at 7 Bryant Park, used its own balance sheet to build the building. They put up 100% equity. They say that Boston Properties is building a building at 250 West 55th Street, put up $1 billion of its own money. They say that Related Properties, that's building 10 Hudson Yards and 30 Hudson Yards, one being a $2.8 billion project, the other a $1.8 billion project. The Related Company, which is a comparable project to the World Trade Center building up the Hudson Yards, the Related Company sold the equity to pension funds. And they're only getting a development fee of about 10%, say. So the question is, why is the government, why are the taxpayers, the toll payers, the airport users, why are they paying to finance Larry Silverstein when every one of his peers is financing these projects in much better market areas of the city with 100% equity? So what is really going on here? The commissioners are being asked to take tolls and fees that are going to our balance sheet that provides the capacity of credit that is supposed to go for building transportation. They're being asked to take these tolls from plumbers and clerks and doctors and lawyers who are coming across the Hudson crossings every day to man our offices and stores. And they're asking those people to subsidize a multi-billionaire developer so he doesn't have to give up his equity in order to finance it, the same as all of his peers are doing in every other project that is being built in New York City. So I'm saying it's this simple. It's this obscene. I urge the commissioners to reject the scandalous overreach into the public cookie jar. I am 100% certain that this building will be built with private money if Silverstein is willing to give up his equity and take a developer's fee or pay for a big portion of it himself. He's in the same financial condition as the Port Authority. He could put up his buildings just the way Macklow put up his buildings when he built the GM building. Of course, he lost the buildings when the GM building didn't succeed as he wanted it to. But he could put up his own buildings. He doesn't need the taxpayer to come in here and put up its money instead of building a bus station or an airport. This makes absolutely no sense. This will be done in the private sector as soon as the Port Authority steps out of giving handouts to Silverstein Properties. He's a noble man to devote his life to building this. But it doesn't mean that every electrician and school teacher and everybody else has to pay a toll to support a billionaire getting more billions of dollars. I'm all for billionaires. I'm all for people being rich. I guess I aspire to that myself. But there is absolutely no logic at all, no rational basis at all. And I've never been able to say this during 3 terms in government. For this money be given by the Port Authority to Silverstein. Let him get it in the market by surrendering a portion of his equity or paying for a guarantee from an outside pension fund. It's all out there. It's not a question. It's only a question of how much money he's willing to sacrifice to do it.